Hello, all of you lovely listeners, and welcome to another video here on Lily Budgets. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Lily, and I am so thankful that you have clicked on this video and are here to spend some time with me today. I am a 23-year-old cash budgeter and stuffer, and I am just trying to live life happy over here. So if that sounds like content that may interest you, I hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button and sending some support my way. Happy Salary Saturday, everyone. It's been a while since we've sat down and chatted about our budget, so I hope you're cozy and having a nice day. Recently I have gotten some questions regarding where some of my numbers come from and how I break my budget down. So for all the newbies here who have joined our journey recently, welcome. I'm happy you're here. And I figured it might be a good time to go over the weekly minimum sheet and sort of how it works. And then we can break down the budget for this upcoming week's cash stuffing using this sheet. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. This budget booklet is available on my Etsy shop in the undated version, so it is reusable and you can duplicate it or clear it out month to month. So I think it's a great investment personally. But anywho, we're gonna hop over to our weekly minimum sheet here. So this is where twice a month I evaluate my current budget and compare it to where I want to be by the end of the month. And I do that for each category, so I know how much I need to stuff in each envelope each week in order to meet those goals. And for me, it is just so much easier to have things planned out ahead of time, take a lot of the guesswork out of it, so I can minimize the mistakes, I guess. I don't know. But I am going to zoom you guys in just a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better, and then we will get right into it. Alrighty, so hopefully this is a little bit easier for you guys to see, but I'm just going to zoom it in so that I can write a little bit easier. So personally, I like to separate mine out between my bills and my sinking funds and savings, because for me it's just nice to visually see that separation between what I need to stuff to cover my expenses and then what I want to stuff to save for certain things. Now, this chart is separated into 5 columns. You list your categories here, their current balances, the goal amount, how much you want to save in order to reach that goal amount, and then how much you need to stuff each paycheck in order to do that. And we'll fill this all out together if that was too much too fast. But to speed up the process, I did go ahead and fill in the current balances in each of the categories. I'm just going to shift this up a little bit so I can move this up. You guys are plugged in here, but okay, so before we break these down, we need to establish how many paychecks we are calculating into this. So technically, I have 2 more weekly income paychecks throughout the month of August, and then I also have my paycheck from YouTube coming at the end of the month. However, for this, I am only going to use my 2 remaining regular paychecks so I can make sure that my goals are met without the YouTube paycheck and I'm not relying on that extra income, because it's not really a large enough amount to rely on quite yet. So now that I know that we have 2 paychecks to use for this, we can start breaking down my bills. So for rent, we currently have $270. That's what we have saved from the last 2 weeks. So in the end of the month, by the end of the month, I need to have $525 in here. That's my rent. So if we take the $525 and we subtract the $270 that we already have, that leaves $255, which is how much we need to save throughout the rest of the month in order to meet our goal. And then we know that we only have 2 paychecks left, so we're going to divide that by 2 for those 2 paychecks, and we need to stuff at least $127.50. I'm going to round that up to 128. It won't make a big difference anyway, but we need to stuff a minimum of $128 each week. And I hope that made sense, but essentially we're going to do that for the rest of our categories. However, and this is where it can get kind of confusing, but this is also where it's just personalized to myself. But some of my categories don't have goal amounts, but there is an amount that I aim to stuff weekly. And some categories don't have a weekly minimum at all. So just stick with me here and I will explain all of this. I am just gonna straighten this out a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it is in line with this top line here on the table, but it's crooked on the top of the camera. So I don't know if you guys are picking up on that, but it's just kind of bugging me a little bit. But anyway, so next is utilities, and for this category, I don't have a specific goal amount that I aim to reach because not only do my utility bills fluctuate month to month, but I also have to pull out of here throughout the month, to pay the bills as they come in. So there isn't a consistent growth in the envelope to an end amount, if that makes sense. So what I do is I plan to budget $50 a month. So the way that I draw it out here is I just cross out the goal amount and the save amount, and I just put $50 here because that is my weekly minimum. And I pull from the envelope as the bills come in. So even though I'm technically saving $200 a month, there won't be $200 in my envelope by the time we do our unstuffing. So to me personally, there's no point in writing out the goal amount. Just in my head, it makes sense. And technically I don't technically have to. I mean, it's just some of them doing the math out is easier and some of them it's not. And it's really just completely up to you and how you choose to do things with your budget. So next up is insurance. My car insurance is $62 every month. So I know that I need 62 in here. We currently have 36. So I'm going to subtract that from the 62 and we need to save $26 more. And divided by the 2 paychecks we have left, we need to stuff a minimum of $13. Typically, and you'll see this in a minute when we break down next week's paycheck, I tend to round up to the nearest 5. So like this will be 130, this will be 15, things like that. But if it came down to it and I was scraping by one week and I needed that extra $5, maybe $10 that it takes to round things up, this is the minimum that I need to stuff. So I can take those $2 if I need to. I hope that makes sense. Now, next up is registration. So for my car's registration, this renews in August each year, and it's around $170-ish. And so I stuff $5 a week throughout the year until I reach $200, and then I hold off until I need to renew it again, and I start over. So I just renewed my registration last week, so I was left with $30, and now we are just stuffing $5 a week until we reach another $200. So I'm going to do the same thing that we did for utilities. I'm just going to cross these out, and for a weekly minimum, each week I need to stuff $5. And even though that this isn't hitting a monthly goal, I need to make sure that I'm doing it in advance because I'm slowly saving up for it as opposed to waiting until a couple months before and stuffing larger amounts. I just prefer to do it in smaller increments over a longer period of time. It's just easier for me that way. But again, totally up to you. So my phone bill is... Why did I say that I have 50 in here? I don't have 50 in my phone bill. I have 30 because we did 15 for the past 2 weeks. But for my goal amount, I need 50. So the difference is $20 divided by 2 would be $10 a week. So at the beginning of the month when we did this, and I can show you, this is the first weekly minimum sheet that I did. We started with 0 and I needed $50. So to save that whole 50 divided by the 4 total paychecks that we had at the beginning of the month, that's $12.50 or 13. So now, because I overstuffed it, and instead of stuffing 13 a week, I stuffed 15 a week, we now only need to stuff 10. So I was able to lower that minimum down, if that makes sense. So that's why I do it once at the beginning of the month and then once halfway through, because I can lower some of these minimums. So anyway, back on track. My annual category is for my Sam's Club membership. So this is similar to registration. I save for this throughout the year, but this is due in February and it's $100 to renew my membership, and we already have $100 in here. So I don't need to set a goal or stuff this at all. So to represent that, I just cross out the entire line, and that just lets me know that I don't need to stuff this each week. My Best Buy is for my Best Buy credit card, and I'm trying to save $100 this month. So we have 50, which means that we need to save the other 50 divided by 2 is $25 a week for my credit card. This is just for a separate credit card. I aim to do $50 a month. And that just splits between 2 cards, so $25 a piece, which is the minimum. That's just what I'm doing for now. It's a little bit over the minimum. The minimum's like 19 or 20, 21, something like that for each of them. And so I need to save another $20, and that is $10 a week minimum. And then for my student loans, I have a $1,000 buffer saved in my Ally savings account, just accruing interest. And then there's, it's just in case there's a point in time, God forbid, when I am unable to budget for my student loans. 1 month I have that buffer, and if I God willing, I don't have to use it, that can be my final $1,000 payment. But for right now, I'm paying $400 monthly. So I have $1,200 in there now. By the end of the month, I need to have $1,400 in here. Technically, there'll be $400 in cash in the envelope, but you know what I mean. And then, so that means we need to save another $200, which is $100 a week, which is how much we have been putting aside, so that's great. So alrighty, now we can move down to my sinking funds. Okay, so Franklin and Cedric are my boyfriend and I's 2 dogs, and I cover Franklin's medicine and food and expenses and stuff, and Austin takes care of Cedric's stuff for the most part. We do, sometimes flip-flop, but it's just kind of how things have worked, and it's working well for us. So what I try to do is stuff $30 into their envelope each week so that I can cover whatever they need. So there's no a goal amount, because it changes depending on what they have coming up, what medicine they need, if they have any bills or any vet appointments or anything coming up. It will fluctuate. So I just try to do $30 a week to build up a buffer. But yeah, and then Austin is my boyfriend, and little update on the pictures. I know that just this last Tuesday, I said that we were postponing our photo session with the dogs to next weekend, but we actually decided, because of just scheduling and work and everything, that we're gonna postpone it to October. So there isn't a date yet, but what we're hoping to do a Christmas card or a holiday card, a Merry Everything card. So I think that fall would be a nice time, especially with the dogs. So I'm not upset about it, and it'll give me a little bit of extra time to save for, we have the money that we need saved. So it's not like it's, futzing with anything in the budget. It's not like it's messing anything up, but yeah, little update on that. So that money will stay in there until we figure that out. So for now, he does not have a minimum. There's nothing that we need to stuff in there, but I'll keep you posted on that. So parents is for anything like gifts for my parents, Mother's Day, Father's Day, their birthdays. My mom's birthday is actually coming up really soon, but for now, I'm just not gonna set a minimum for it, and I'm just gonna stuff it as I can, because the budget has been pretty tight lately. But that's okay. So for medical, we have 50 in there right now, and I'm trying to save $100 every month in my medical sinking fund right now for to help pay my parents back for some medical bills that I have racked up. So we need to save the remaining 50, and that'll be $25 a week minimum. And then for car care, we have $480, and my goal for the end of the month is $500. So that is just another $20 we need to save, which will be a minimum of 10. And just to point this out, I feel like it does go without saying, but a weekly minimum is just the minimum. I can absolutely stuff more than this, and if there is no minimum, that doesn't mean that I can't stuff it. It just means that I don't have to. And you'll see that when we do fill out the budget for this coming cash stuffing. But I did just want to point that out, that these aren't like, this is only what I can stuff. I can absolutely change this. And also, if I don't make enough to stuff $25 into medical one week, I don't have to. This is just a way for me to pre-plan out my weekly budgets, because sometimes I stress over it. So Pamper has 5 right now, but we don't need anything, so I'm not gonna set a minimum for it. Tattoo has 60, and I have been saving up for a tattoo, but I'm doing it really slowly, so I've been just doing $5 a week, and I'm waiting until I save up to $100 before I make my appointment, because I don't think it'll be more than that, but I just want to have that saved before I make the appointment, so I don't have to scramble to come up with a bunch of money. And then gym is, it has 45 right now. I do need to make an appointment. I do need to make an order soon for some more supplements, so I'm stuffing $5 a week in there as well, just to kind of boost that up. But there's no goal amount that I need to save for. And then gifts is empty, but we also are not going to set a goal for it quite yet. And then for Christmas, I am doing a savings challenge. These are available in my shop for download. I have a few different challenges, but I am aiming to save $750 for Christmas this year. And this is a 50-week challenge. So I started this in December of last year, and I've been stuffing smaller amounts each week. Of course, if you started it later than that, you could just double up, because they are much smaller increments. But right now I have 2 more 15s that I am trying to finish up, so that's what I'm gonna put as my weekly minimum for Christmas. And then I'm just going to, whoops, let go of it too early. And this is just to make sure that I am stuffing that at least, and then I can move down to $10 a week, which will be nice. And then for personal, I have been trying lately to at least stuff $10 a week into my personal envelope, so that I'm making sure to at least somewhat prioritize myself. Our special envelope, I'm not going to stuff or set a minimum for it. This one, I mentioned this in a few videos ago, but there is something that I will be saving for and will become a sinking fund. However, I can't put a label on it quite yet, or let you guys know what it is for, because it is not my news to share with the world. But once I get the go ahead to do that, I will absolutely update you guys with that label and let you know and start stuffing it right up. But travel right now is at $180, and I set a goal for the end of this month for $200, so we need to stuff $20 more, which will be $10 a week. I'm sorry about my handwriting. I'm writing at a weird angle. But yeah, we are saving up we already got the Patriots tickets, and we are saving up for the hotel. I definitely have enough for the hotel. There's no way that my portion for one night in a hotel is going to be $200. So I'm still just saving up for like spending and souvenirs and stuff like that because it will be my first game, so I'm excited. Okay, and then business does not get a minimum because this really just comes out of my Etsy or YouTube income. And then for my apartment, I am setting a minimum of $25 a week to set aside that I plan to put that towards toiletries. If I need anything else, I'll just add to it, but I'm trying to stuff at least $25 a week into toiletries to make sure that I am staying on top of that. And then for my savings categories, I have recently decided to simplify things as best as I can. So I got my savings category up to 1,000, and I finished my 52-week challenge early and then dispersed that throughout. So now I have 3 main savings categories, and those are for my first home, my manifest savings, and my 3K savings challenge, which is where the bulk of my savings hopefully is going to go. So with that being said, my first home category currently has $5,100. I haven't this month set a goal for it, but I've been trying to stuff $50. I've been trying to stuff $50 a week in here. And I don't know why, it just doesn't make a difference to me, so I've just been doing $50 a week on there. And then for my savings category, because I got it up to 1,000 and that was my goal for now, and then I put another 1,000 in from the 52-week savings challenge, I'm holding off on this and focusing my savings on those other main 3 ones. But speaking of manifest, I don't actually set a weekly minimum for this one. For whatever OCD reason that my mind has crafted, it almost feels like cheating. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm trying to manifest something here with this savings, and planning it out too much just doesn't feel right. So I just make sure to stuff a little each week, but there's no strict amount that I need to reach, if that makes sense. And then emergency, again, we got it up to 2,500, and I'm pretty good with that for now. My end goal is 5,000, but I'm focusing on everything else right now. And then for my 3K savings challenge, this one is a new category, and the minimum amount in the challenge is $25. So that is what I am setting as the minimum. And then, of course, I'm just going to throw anything else that I can there. But that is how I fill out my weekly minimum sheet, you guys. And I do this once at the beginning of the month and again after the second cash stuffing or whenever, to reevaluate the budget and see if I can lower any of my minimums, which we did. So I'm happy about. But now I will show you guys how I use this sheet to break down the budget for next week's cash stuffing. So we're going to hop over to week 3, and we can start by adding the date here. So we are budgeting from August 16th through the 22nd. Now, there are a few things that we need to do before we can break down the budget. First, we need to establish our income. So I have this little section right here. Obviously, my categories are pre-typed. Yours will come blank, so you can write them in or type them in however you want to do it. Now, my income is subject to change, and the reason that I stopped doing, or one of the reasons that I stopped doing budget with me's as consistently is because by the time this goes out and you're seeing this, there's a good chance that I will have made a little bit more before the stuffing on Tuesday. So this will be calculated based off of what I already know that I've made, and whatever else I do make, if anything, I'll just add it off camera. Okay, so for income, From National Trailer Registration, we got the usual 541. For side income this week, we're working with 126, but that might change. And then from Etsy, we got paid $206. So that gives us a total income of $873. So this will be another low income week for us, but that is totally fine. So the next thing that we need to do is check our calendar here for any subscriptions or memberships that may be pulling automatically. And for this week, we have Planet Fitness. So I am just going to cross that off. And we'll need to make sure that we leave $23 in the bank to cover our membership. That'll be pulling on the 17th. And then the last thing that we need to do before we can add our weekly minimums in is go, what was that? Oh, I got distracted by the 23. We need to go over to our business spread here and figure out what we are putting toward the business, because some of this income is from Etsy, obviously. So we'll need to deal with taxes and shipping and stuff like that. So this is my business spread. This is not included in the one that you guys get, I don't think. It might be, but I don't think that this one is. But if you're interested in it, I mean, just let me know and I can list it potentially or figure something out. So if you saw my last cash stuffing, you might already know what we're adding in here, but I went ahead and erased it for the sake of this video. Alrighty, so for taxes, so for our Etsy income, we had a total of $206. I do 30%, so 0.3. We're going to multiply it because I would rather take out too much than not enough. So that is $61.80. I'm going to round that up to $62. And then I really just fill the rest out of necessity. For shipping, I'm going to add $10. And then for equipment, I'm going to add 5. Supplies is going to get 20. And then what I did is I added this up, 62, 10, 5, and 20, and it equals 97. So I just added $3 into Lily Budgets to give this a total of $100. And then we can hop back over to week 3 and down in business. Whoa, I'm gonna add, I almost added 300, 100. So that's where I get that number. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pop our weekly minimum sheet up on the screen for you guys that we just filled out together so you can follow along. And I'm just gonna fill in everything's weekly minimum, and then we will see what we are left with. And again, I will be rounding up to the nearest 5 on pretty much everything. So yeah, so I tend to just start with my expenses. So rent gets $130, utilities gets $50, registration gets $5. And you kind of just like memorize them, because they end up being the same pretty much each week. Registration, insurance is not getting $5. Insurance is getting $15. Goodness, stop it. Registration is getting $5. Phone is getting $10. Annuals is not getting anything, so I just cross out the whole line. So when we're filling in the balances during the cash stuffing, I don't have to leave it blank or count it or anything. Best Buy is getting $25. Credit card is getting $10, and student loans is getting $100. And then I need to add Planet Fitness in here. And so typically what I'll do is I'll say we have $873, and I'm going to take away that 23. So we have $850 that we're pulling out. If this wasn't an even number, say it was 851, I would leave that 1 in my account as my round down buffer round up buffer or whatever, and I just leave that as a buffer in my bank account, and then I would pull out that even number, so it's just easier for me. But this week it ended up working out really well, so we're only leaving that 23 in. So that was just a little side note. And then for our sinking funds, Frank and Cedric get 30. Medical gets 25, car care gets 10, tattoo and gym both get 5, Christmas gets 15, personal gets 10, travel gets 10, and apartment gets 25. Jeez, you really memorize these things. First home gets 50 and 3K gets 25. So now what I'm going to do, now that we have everything filled in, I'm going to take the $873, I guess minus the 23, so 850, and we're going to subtract everything that we've added here to see how much we have remaining. So 850 minus 130 minus 50, 15, 5, 10, 100, 25, 110, 30, 25, 10, 10, 15, 10, 10, 25, 50, and 25. Okay, we are left with $195. So now we can go into my wallet here. So my 4 categories that are in my wallet for my weekly spending are gas, groceries, eating out, and then miscellaneous, where I throw a couple ones in there in case I don't want to break a big bill. So for my birthday last weekend, I got a few gas cards that should hopefully last me for a few weeks. So thankfully, I don't need to budget anything for gas this week, so I'm just going to cross out the whole line. And then for groceries, I have been budgeting myself $120 each week, and it has been working pretty well. And then for eating out, I give myself 10, which kind of allows me to eat out once in the week, get fast food or get a coffee or something like that once a week, which is okay. It's been working. And then miscellaneous, I usually just throw 5 in there, which gives me an extra couple ones to pull here and there if I need to. So we have $60 left, and that is actually perfect because my 3K savings challenge, which I'm going to take the opportunity right now because I forgot to fill this in last week's cash stuffing and nobody said anything. We still had $125 in here last week, so I am going to cross out or fill in 100 and a 25. All right. But this challenge goes in increments of 25. So there's 25, 50, 75, and 100. So we have 25 in here now and we have 60 left. I'm going to take $50 more and put it towards here, which will bring this up to 75. And then I'm going to put that last 10 into manifest. And really now all that's left is, and I'm not crossing these rest of these categories out just yet, because if I do make anything else over the weekend that for side income and stuff like that, then I can just add them in. But by the time you guys are seeing me at the next cash stuffing on Tuesday, those will probably be crossed out. So the last step is really just to check our math. So we're going to add up each of these individual sections and put the totals here, and then we're going to add it all up and make sure that it equals that 873. So for our envelopes, 120, 10, and 5, that is a total of 135 that we are budgeting for weekly spending. And then for our expenses, that is $445. And yes, some of this is going towards sinking funds that are in my business binder. So not all of this is going towards bills necessarily, and a lot of it is going towards taxes that were not necessarily spending, but you know what I mean. Anyway, like we're not counting it in our sinking funds update, which is why it's over there. So for our sinking funds, we have $135. And then 50, 10, and 75, we are also putting $135 into our savings. So that's awesome. And then the very final step, well, I guess not the very final step, but let's do 135 plus 135 plus 23 plus 445. Oh, and 135 in our wallet too. What the heck? That equals $873, which is perfect. So the last thing that we would normally do is break down the denominations. We would do it on this sheet here. You just list it out and then you break it down however you want to pull the cash out in the bank. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do it off camera because this video is already crazy long and I don't want to put you guys to sleep. But, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But anyway. With that being said, that wraps up today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, of course, always you can leave them in the comments. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can send me an email, however you want to reach me. I'm happy to answer any questions, but this is pretty much just how I plan out my budget. It is specific to me and it works for me, but this system can be tweaked and twisted and able to work for you and how your life is and your budget is. And that is what I love about this system, honestly. Besides the fact that it saves you a ton of money, it can be completely catered to you, which is just fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and leave a big yellow heart in the comments to support the channel. I love you guys. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. You can hover over my face down in this little corner here and just click that big red button. Join the family. At our next big subscriber milestone, we'll have another giveaway. I'll probably do envelopes as well as like gift cards and cash. Not cash because I'm not going to mail you cash, but you know what I mean, in the form of a gift card. But yeah, with that being said, thanks for sticking around with me. Don't forget to tune back in on Tuesday for our cash stuffing. But with that being said, I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day, week, month, year, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.